Hey guys, what up? It's Chris. I'm back here with another video, and today's video it's just gonna be a story time. Nothing like scary like the past video. This one's just gonna be like a chill story time video about an experience that I had about last year back when I was a senior in high school. But anyways, I don't wanna waste more time, so let's just get right into the story time. All right, so today's story time is gonna be my experience of when I went to Washington D.C. for the Women's March, which I don't know, some of you guys who watch my videos might know that I actually went to DC last year for a school trip. And I'll give you guys like a background. I'll tell you guys a background first, and then like the week prior, and my experience when I was getting there. When I got there, what happened there, and then on the way back. This shit was crazy. Like a lot of stuff happened, and it was like a really fun like overall experience for me. All right, so let's start with the background. So my high school would have these donors who would donate money to fund these trips for specifically 4 girls and 4 guys, and send them along with 2 teachers, and send them to DC for a trip to participate in the Women's March, to advocate for women. The trip was paid off. They were getting money for it. They would send them to DC for like 3 days. But this was like cool. When I heard about this, I was like, yo, this is cool, because I've always wanted to go to DC, and like you guys know that I'm a history major. Like I said in this last video, I'm a history major. So going to DC is like a dream, because there's like so much history, over there. So it's like I've always wanted to go there. So that was junior year. Those kids got to go, whatever. That was cool. But I didn't know about it at the time, so I never signed up for it, because you had to sign up for it, and then you had to like write a couple essays about it, like why you deserve to go. So then a year passes, and then senior year. So now I'm a senior, right? And I'm always making sure that whatever scholarship is available, I'm able to apply for it. Whatever contest is available, I'm able to apply for it, so I can get either money, like funds, like trips. I'm just trying to take advantage of my senior year. So that's what I did. I'm just waiting and patiently waiting to hear about this DC trip so that I can apply as soon as possible. Because I really wanted to go to DC, especially because I was like at the time, and still am, very interested in history. So when the time came, the first thing I did was start applying for it. I answered the questions, the essays, did the essays, I turned it in, but they weren't gonna give out the results until I think like 2 weeks, because they had to read all the applicants and read their essays. So now I'm just patiently waiting for this for the school to select those applicants that were chosen to go to DC. And then so this is when it happened. This was like a Friday morning. I go to my first period, and the day's going fine, right? Like my teacher was super chill. Shout out to Miss Gongora. She's my Irwin teacher. She's like really chill. So we were just talking in class, chilling. And then what happened was this was like 15 minutes before class ended. My teacher got a call from I think this was like from the front office, right? So I looked, because I noticed that she got a call, because I was talking to my friends, but my desk isn't that far from her desk table. So I'm like talking to my friends, and then when I see her pick up the phone, I look, and I'm thinking in my head like, wait, is this for the contest? Like, I wonder what it was for, or if it was someone just going home, getting called up, to get picked up to go home. Right, so whatever. I'm still talking to my friends, and then she hangs up the phone, and she calls me over, like she personally called me over to her table. So I walk over to her table, and she tells me they need you at the library. So I'm like, I asked her why, like, am I in trouble? And then she said, I don't know, I don't think so. So I'm like, all right, should I take my stuff? And she's like, yeah, go for it. So I take my stuff. I don't know if I did, but I think I did take my stuff. Walked over to the library, overthinking, like, wait, am I going to DC? Are they gonna, tell me that I didn't go, that I am going, So the whole time I'm just thinking a lot in my head, whether I was going or not. So it's like a 3-minute walk from my class to the library. So when I get there, I see a bunch of like other kids, right? I see classmates that I knew. I saw other people that I didn't know at the time. So I walk in, and they're all sitting like different tables, because like they weren't really talking to each other. So I walk in, and I just sit down, and then I see a guy that I recognized from my class, right? Because he was a senior like I was. So I knew him, but like pretty much everyone else, like I wasn't that close with. And then what happened was we're just sitting there not knowing why, and we were asking each other if this was for DC, but we really didn't know why. And then all of a sudden, there's 8 of us. Yeah, there's 8 of us, and then the vice principal of the school walks into the library, and there's no one in the library. Like they completely closed the library, and it was just us in there. And then the vice principal comes, and he basically tells us that that we were going to DC, that we were selected out of like I don't know if it was like 50 to like 100 like submissions to go. I think it was like 50 submissions that like we were chosen to go to DC, right? So obviously we were like excited as hell. I was super excited. They were super excited. They were basically gonna announce like that we won on the like morning announcement, which was second period, right? So this was a weird thing, right? There was only one guy besides me. So it was me and my friend Paul, right? We were the only guys there. The rest were girls. Usually I thought it was like 4 guys and 4 girls. I thought that was like what it said, like, you know, for the applications to go. Like they wanted 4 guys and 4 girls. But it just turned out to be 2 guys and I think 6 girls? I got it all mistaken. It was 6 girls, I think, and 2 guys, and then the 2 teachers. The teacher was a guy, and then the teacher was a girl. Right? So they basically said that we were going to DC, which was like crazy. You know what I mean? But anyway, they told us to go back to our classes, but the bell had already rung basically. So I was walking in my second period. So class was starting, and then the morning announcements start. And they're basically, you know, whatever, doing the morning announcements. And then they say, like, the vice principals, like, making the announcement that, like, oh my God! They were you know, they gave out the names of who was going to DC. And got selected to go to DC for free to attend the Women's March. I already put this day on the calendar, you know, DC, going to DC, have everything packed for this day, right, on my calendar. 2 days prior, my music teacher, she told me that I should apply for this music competition scholarship thing for the women's club in my city, which I don't know if you guys know, but they basically host the music competition every year for students around the school district to perform their like solos, like music solos, right? So when I heard about this, the first thing I did was apply, like again, you know, for the DC thing, apply. That's my thing, applying for scholarships. You know, my mom always told me to apply for scholarships because my older brother, you know, he never did. And that was like a missed opportunity. So I always felt too lazy to apply for scholarships. But once I won like my first scholarship, which was like I won a laptop. It was a laptop contest and I won it. That's what really motivated me to like apply for these other scholarships. And like, I'm not gonna lie, like just senior year, I've won like legit like 13 scholarships. Like 13 scholarships. It's crazy. So every time I always felt motivated to keep going for scholarships. So I always went to the career center to ask for more. Like Miss Snyder, I don't know if you guys know who Miss Snyder. She knew me. Every time I walked into the career center, she would just hand me a new scholarship because she knew I was gonna ask her. So it was like fun. Like we had a bond like that. Like it was cool. I knew her, she knew me, everyone knew me. It was like really cool. But anyways, my music teacher told me to, you know, try out, you know, apply for this competition, perform my solo in front of the judges. You know, performing by myself was like a very different experience because I've always been so used to performing, you know, with my classmates, with my friends. You know, we're all individuals, like, performing for, you know, the same piece of music, but we perform as, like, one sound, one group, right? So doing these solo competitions was the first time I was able to break out of my own shell and perform by myself and really show people that, you know, I have like this talent, you know, that I'm more than just performing in one team. I can perform by myself, you know, which was like fun. It was like a really fun, you know, thing to do, to break out of this group, to show my group that, hey, I can do this on my own, right? So whatever. You know, the problem was that competition was the day before I left to DC, right? So, I'm rehearsing. I only had like a couple of, weeks to rehearse. So I finally rehearsed it, went to this competition, and performed my solo. I had friends who were in drumline, who were in band that also went. And from like the other school in the district, they went. And for performing, our solos, I was like one of the like last ones in my category to perform, right? And I did my solo. That solo was probably the best solo that I've ever played. Like the future solos that I would perform for other competitions, like they don't come close. Like that first run was like my best run. Every other run has been crap, but that was like that solo, like specific solo that I played was like my best like run that I've ever had. I sat back down and I was just supportive of the outcome. What would it be? I tried. At least I did. Something I applied, right? But it turned out, when they were announcing the winners, that like I won for my category. So I won that scholarship. It was like $200. It was a little bit, but they said that those winners can now like compete in the regional, the regional district scholarship competitions for like another women's club. So basically I'm going to like another city's women's club and performing and going against their schools in that district. So that's what I did. Like, spoiler alert, I won in that competition too. That was $500, which is like $700 in total just for that. But I did other scholarships other than that. Right, so whatever, scrap that. I won, right? Which is like, exciting as hell. Because like I worked hard on that solo. So that's like a really cool experience, right? So I go home, I celebrate, and then, immediately I had to start packing, more of my stuff and getting ready to leave. Next morning comes and we had to meet at, I think, like 4:45 in the morning in front of the school at the front office. So it's like 4:45, I'm like half asleep, and like so are other people, right? It's myself, Paul, the other guy, Alina, Lisbeth, Bonnie, Cindy, Alexis, Cynthia. I think that's it. I think I got all of them this time. Yeah, sorry, I tried like 4 times. There were like 4 other attempts. I didn't think I got all of them. And the teachers that, were chaperoning to go, which was Mr. Marquez. I never had him, but a lot of people did. I didn't have him though. And then my government teacher at the time, my AP government teacher, she was at the time, Miss Ponce. They were there too because they were going with us. Before I continue on, I just wanted to say to Alina, Lisbeth, Bonnie, Cindy, Cynthia, Paul, Marquez, and Miss Ponce. I think I got them all. I think Alexis, Paul, Cynthia. There's a lot of names. But anyways, everyone who went to DC, I just want to say thank you for making my experience great. I'm going to put a link to their Instagrams in the description. So please go follow them. Ask them, how their experience was, because theirs might be different from mine. But yeah, I just want to give them a shout out that, thank you for making my experience as memorable as it was. You know what I mean? We're waiting for this shuttle to take us to the airport so we can, take our flight to DC. So this was really early in the morning. The shuttles, they took forever to come. They were late. So they were late, but we still managed, to get to LAX, the airport, get on the flight, take the flight to DC, right? It was like a 6-hour flight. And by the time we got there, it was like I don't know if it was 4 o'clock in the afternoon or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, but it was sometime in the afternoon when we actually got there. And then we took the metro, right? And we made it to our stop. Thankfully we didn't take a wrong, metro or rail. We got there in our right spot. Take the escalator up. This is the first time I'm able to see the sky, because the whole time we got there from the plane to the metro, we were underground. We couldn't go outside and see the sky, right? So get off of the metro. We're going up the escalators, and I can see the sky, right? And it was dark. It was dark already. And I look up, and as I'm going up the escalator, I can see more and more of these big, super tall buildings around us, just surrounding us. These buildings were huge. So I look up, and I'm like, whoa, these were big buildings. So I'm like, we're here. And it was super cold. I hardly get cold at all, and a lot of my friends know. Like I could stand in like 60-degree weather and not use a sweater. So, but it was cold even for me. So I had to even put a jacket on because it was like that cold, right? So I had to cover myself up. And we're walking down the street because from that escalator to the hotel was literally like 2 blocks down, right? So we're walking to our hotel. We get there, we check in, and I had a room with Paul, right? Because we're 2 guys. Obviously, we had a room together, and the girls, they were rooming together as well, right? So we were just settling in, I think, in the hotel room, and we were just like talking, getting to know each other more. We're done settling in, and then we go walk from the hotel. All of us go walk to this restaurant that we saw, right? It was like, I think like 2 miles. It was like a 2-mile walk, and it's snowing, right? And like one of the biggest things that I remember, like probably one of the most exciting things that I remember, walking towards the restaurant, was this building to my right. And I look over and it said National Archives, you know, the National Archive building. And in my mind, like a thought like sparked like in my mind, like, wait, isn't the Declaration of Independence in that building? So, because you know, my government teacher, my AP government teacher, we were just talking about that in class like not that long ago. I asked her, I said, Miss, isn't that where the Declaration of Independence is held at? Like where it's like located? And she's like, I think so. So, you know, I was like really excited because like you guys know specifically U.S. history is like my thing. U.S. history and government is like my favorite, you know, subject, you know, major. So I was like really excited, like that I wasn't like literally this building was across the street from myself, and we were able to walk and like legit, we were able to see the White House. The White House was right there. Like we were in front of the White House taking pictures, right? So we all took a picture in front of the White House, which was like really cool. It was like a really fun experience. The problem was, and I don't know if you know, these guys remember, but I had to really use the bathroom at the time. Like I could not hold it any longer. Like I'm able to stay quiet and not say anything, but I legit could not handle it, and I had to use the bathroom. So it was so embarrassing when I had to ask my government teacher, like, Miss, I like low-key need to use the bathroom really bad. If I find one, can I go? And she's like, yeah, hopefully we'll find it on the way when we're walking. But it was like, as we kept walking, it kept getting harder and harder to hold it, right? So she said, you know, we'll find one eventually. So we're taking pictures of like us in the White House, and I think I have a picture of it. Like you guys can't see, like at least like, you know, visually, but like in that picture, my face is like excitement and like in pain at the same time. Like look at this. You know, my face just says it all. Like, I really needed to use the bathroom, but I was trying my hardest to hold a smile, right? But it was like the funniest thing ever. Like, it was like really cool. So throughout that night, I kept taking pictures, but like crossing my legs, hoping that there was a bathroom, but every bathroom was closed. Like, it sucked, man. It really sucked. So I basically had to hold it literally until we got back to our hotel. I felt like, you know, I low-key like ruined, you know, my friends, their night, right? Because like, I cut it short so that I can use the bathroom. So like I felt bad. Like I really felt bad afterwards, but I mean, we had like 3 more days. So that was the first day, right? The second day that we're there, this was like early in the morning. We woke up, we had breakfast. The first thing we did was we went to the Washington Memorial, right? But before we got to the Washington Memorial, we were like playing with these ducks. We saw, I don't think they were ducks. We saw these ducks in this big like load of snow, and we were just playing in the snow, like playing with these ducks, right? Because it was like cute. So we did that. We went to go see the Washington Memorial, which is like big, like, you know what I mean? These are monuments, like these are huge monuments, right? So it was crazy big. So the whole time I kept taking pictures and calling people, showing them, right? Because my friends wanted to see pictures of it, of me there. So then, you know, after the Washington Memorial, we start walking towards the World War II Memorial and the World War I Memorial. So we're walking past it, and I'm taking pictures, and then we come across the Lincoln Memorial and the pool. I forgot what the pool was called, but the pool, you know what I mean? Like we saw all these these like memorials, and I'm like just like starstruck, looking at all these memorials, like amazed. Like these are gigantic, and like this is history. Like all the pictures that I see on the internet, it's like nothing compared to when I was actually there. You know what I mean? I was trying to prepare myself to like not freak out when I saw these in person, but like I couldn't keep my composure. Like I was super excited when I saw all these, you know, monuments, right? So, but at the same time, at the Lincoln Memorial was legit the same day of the tribal, the Native Indians, with that incident with the kid with the MAGA hat, right? I don't know if you guys remember, like I'll show a clip right here. That legit was like 2 hours apart. That was like 2 hours apart. That was the same day that happened, right? But at the time, we had left to go see other memorials. Like we went to go see the Martin Luther King Memorial, the Thomas Jefferson Memorial, the Vietnam War Memorial, the Korean War Memorial. Like there were so many memorials over there that we walked a lot. Like we walked a lot. Like it was crazy. We walked at least like 10 miles that day. And then we went to where else did we go? And then we went to the Holocaust Museum. The Holocaust Museum was like it was like really cool because you got to learn about, you know, these Jews, like, and their experiences in these concentration camps and how tragic it is. And you know, you really learn a lot, you know. So that was like a fun experience for me. It was like opening. It was like very eye-opening, right? So the next day comes, and that's the day of the Women's March, right? So I think that day we had to wake up early in the morning again to have breakfast. And then we went to go take the metro. I think the metro from our stop to the Capitol Hill building, which is where we went. We went to the Capitol Hill building, which was like, oh my God, that was probably the highlight of like the whole trip. Going to Capitol Hill, then we go inside, we get a tour of like the building, of inside, the history, you know, the Supreme Court, where it was held at, you know, all the statues of these presidents that are now deceased, right? All these sculptures and paintings, and like, that's what I saw over there. Like, not too recently at the time was George H.W. Bush's death, right? His death. And, you know, his casket was held legit in the middle of the Capitol Hill building. And I was standing right there. Like, I legit, like, was so, like, amused that I took a picture of the floor. Legit, like, located where he was, like, his casket was at. And I looked up, and then I see all these, like, paintings on the wall. And it's, like, the most beautiful thing I've ever seen, right? But, anyways, we're in this, building, this library. I'm gonna just say it was like a national library, because I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna just insert the name right here because I don't know, I forgot the name. But we went in there, we saw, like, you know, all these books, all these like sites of, like, you know, many subjects. Like, you had like the history of baseball, you had the history of like the Olympics, you had the history of like a president, the history of like fascism, you know, then like the history of like native tribes. Like, they had all that type of stuff in this like building, and it was like really like cool. Like, it was, you know, very eye-opening, very entertaining for me. It was like very fun. That was fun as hell. So then we go to the Women's March, right? We go to the Women's March, and it was like super cold, super cold, right? And it's packed. Like, there was like at least like 10,000 to like 75,000 people there. This thing was like packed with people, and there was like stages everywhere. I took some videos. There's like, people had posters, people were painted, you know, advocating for gay rights, you know, all these things, like, and it was like very powerful. Like, I felt like empowered, right? I felt like very empowered advocating for women, you know. So that was like really fun. And you know, the only problem was that it was like raining and it was cold, but it was like really fun. We were just having a hard time like standing there for that long, because everyone around us was just standing. Like, everyone's standing, and it's like very tiring because it kept raining and it was getting cold. That was day 3, right? The day 3, you know, we had fun at the Women's March. We went back, you know, our teachers, you know, they went to bed. But like us, you know, the 8 of us, you know, the 8 students, we secretly planned to like, and I know I shouldn't even be saying this because someone's gonna snitch on me to like the teachers. But we snuck out and met up at the pool that was in the hotel, which is like legit under the hotel. It's under the hotel, and you know, we're on like the 8th floor of the hotel. So we secretly we're talking about going to the pool in the hotel and just like chilling and like having fun, right? Since it was our last night there. So it only took them like my teachers like 30 minutes after they told us to go to bed. They went to sleep, and so we all just went to go meet up at the pool, and like we're just having fun, chilling, bonding. I was getting to know more of them, and at that point, that's when I was like really comfortable, like talking to them. I was like really comfortable. They broke me out of my shell. So like long story short, we went to the White House again. We walked around. Though I think one of the funniest things there was I was like debating on asking one of the Secret Service agents there for an autograph, like to autograph my puzzle, right? Because it would just be funny, like to bring back like a memory of, just to think about stuff like that, right? So then this is around the time when this was like I think 3 in the afternoon. We were like checking out of the hotel. It was time to go home. So we take the metro again to the airport. The flight back to LAX. I was up the whole time, like legit. This was a 6-hour flight, and I didn't fall asleep at all. You know why? One, my teachers were sitting right next to me. Like I was in between my 2 teachers. Meanwhile, everyone else were sitting with each other, like having fun. Not that I didn't have fun, but it was just funny. It was a funny thing. I happen to sit right here, right? I'm in the middle, and then my right is Miss Ponce, and to the left is Mr. Marquez. I'm sitting in between my teachers, and I was like, oh my god, because it was like a funny thing, because stuff like that always happens to me, no matter what, So, anyways, that 6-hour flight, I didn't sleep at all. You know why? Because I was watching the Rams game. I was watching the Rams game for them to qualify to go to the Super Bowl. I was watching that game, and legit, I don't know if you guys watched that game, but that game was like super nerve-wracking because they were tied and they were about to lose, but they won that game. But I saw them, like the whole plane that we're watching the game, we're watching the game in this plane, and we're celebrating in this plane, like everyone's screaming and celebrating, and but at the same time people are sleeping. So it was funny because like some people were waking up and complaining, right? But I'm watching this game. Mr. Marquez and I are watching the game, and it was just like super funny because like we ended up winning that game, and I recorded it. We ended up winning that game, and I was just like super hyped up, super excited that we won, and that we were going back home. I was just like things were working out like well, So we get back to the airport. We take we take 2 separate shuttles because we couldn't fit everyone on one shuttle. So I think I took the second shuttle back, and by the time I got back to the school, all the parents were there, and everyone had like already went home, and then my parents were already there, so I was going home. Going to DC for sure was definitely the highlight of 2019 for me, and this was like January, but like this was like super fun. Like that is an experience like that will never go away from me. Like I had so many memories there. I made a lot of new friends there. I got to get closer with my teacher, I got to learn all these like new things, and it was like very fun. You know what I mean? I tried deep dish pizza for the first time. I tried what was it? They tried like some sushi that I've never heard of. Poke. They tried poke that I've never heard of, right? My new friend bought me a mochi ice cream, which I've never tried. You know what I mean? Like we had these memories that like I'll never take for granted because it was just something that I'll keep in my heart. That I made all these friends, an experience that I liked, that I worked so hard for to get to. I did, and got to have fun because of it. You know what I mean? It was just like a fun experience overall. So now I'm gonna show you guys what I got. This is gonna turn into like a merch haul now, like what I got at DC. So let me show you guys what I got. All right. So the first thing that I got, which by the way, I didn't have to pay anything out of pocket. Everything was paid for. They even gave us like a Visa card of like 300, like $250 for us to spend at DC. So nothing was pretty much out of pocket, right? All the restaurants we went to, all the gifts that we bought from the gift shop, we didn't pay out of pocket. We paid with that card that the donors gave us. The first thing that I bought at DC was this like little statue thing. I bought it legit because it had a lot of memorials, a lot of monuments there, and like I just thought it was like really cool. This was like I think like 18 bucks. And there's like other sizes, like bigger ones, but I just bought this one because it was more easy to store in my luggage. So I bought it legit because it just looked like sick, right? Just to display on my cabinet, on my shelf, you know, a shelf of my stuff, you know? So I bought this. This was like really cool. You know what I mean? So I bought it just because I like antiques. I love antiques, collecting stuff. So I bought this because I knew this would be cool to store in my shelf. Right, so now we're going to move on to the shirts that I bought at DC. So anyways, at the gift shop, you know what I'm saying, these shirts were, I think, 3 for $10. So I just bought them because it was on sale. So I got this one, right, Washington, D.C. with the World War II memorial, you know, the flag and the Capitol Hill building. So I bought it just because it looked sick, right? And then the other shirt that I bought was this one, Washington, D.C., right? Just because it looked nice, you know, the logo on the shirt. And this is probably my favorite thing that I got at DC. So I bought this shirt, which was the DC, but the metro system and all the stops, literally because, like, you know, the metro was like a significant part of, you know, our trip because that was like our road of transportation. So I bought it just because in case we got lost, like we just knew what stop to get off on by looking at my shirt. So it was like very funny. So I think this was like definitely like the funniest part of the whole trip, just getting the shirt. And then the last thing I got, I think, was the 2 puzzles that I bought. The 2 puzzles that I have right here on the screen. Those are the last things that I bought at DC. I think that I can remember at least, honestly. I should have bought a hat. That's like one of the things I regret. The things that I regret from going to that trip, one, was not buying a hat over there. Because hats, like, are my thing, right? You know, I have a whole collection of hats, like, all right here, of my hats. And then 2, like, not socializing as much. You know what I mean? That's like one thing I regret. I should have like talked to like these guys, you know, talked to them and like communicated more with them, you know, because I had a lot of fun, but I kept isolating myself and like being awkward. Yeah, but anyways, guys, that's gonna wrap up my video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like and subscribe if you liked it. Honestly, I don't really care if you don't. And I'll see you guys in the next one.